Hi, I'm Devon Rosenberg, and you're watching Devon's Dish. So today on the show, we don't have celebrity updates, we don't have music reviews, we don't have concert reviews or movie reviews, but what we do have is two very special guests in the studio. From Mix 104.1, we have the very funny, the very courageous, the very cool Carson and Kennedy. They are the radio co-hosts of the very popular morning radio talk show Carson and Kennedy, which airs Monday through Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. And let's get right into it. Carson Kennedy, thank you so much for being here.
Sure, no worries.
You both look very, very suave, very professional.
Courageous, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Certainly.
Yes, courageous.
I have makeup on after 6 at night. You'd be lucky.
So this morning you guys had a show. How'd it go?
I'm kidding.
It's a Monday, you know.
Always considered. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah, Mondays are always tough, you know, after you've been gone for the weekend and you're focused on what's going on in your personal life. To come back in on a Monday and try and get back into the swing of, you know, being at work is always more challenging, I think.
But we're fortunate that most of the show is our private life, so
Right.
lots of fodder from the weekends. So.
Right. Well, so 5:30. That's a really early time to start. What time do you guys have to go to bed in order to get enough sleep?
10 minutes. He thinks I'm kidding. No, I'm usually asleep by 8.
Oh yeah? You guys don't watch the late night shows? Not
What's late night? Family Feud?
American Idol?
Jeopardy?
Yeah.
I would like to thank the internet for making it possible to watch television outside of those hours, because you know, before you could do those things, then yeah, you'd have to stay up, you'd have to watch Idol, you'd have to watch all of it, all 3.5 hours of it.
Right.
Because clearly it's something you want to talk about the next day, but the internet has made it so much easier on demand and things of this nature to make it so that I don't have to feel so stressed out. I get up pretty early though, I get up at 3, so I can watch a lot of stuff in the morning.
That is really early. Is it a long drive to the studio?
It's autopilot, really.
Yeah.
At this point,
Yeah.
I push the button and say "Go to station," and it goes.
You got your coffee out, you know.
You know,
Gotcha.
it is what it is.
So now, when do you guys find time to, you know, like think about what you're going to talk about on the next show? Do you guys do it like the morning of when you get to the studio? Do you do it after the show's over?
Everything is fodder for the show. This interview will be fodder for the show.
Oh, okay.
I'm recording it right now, and you don't even know it.
Oh, I know.
Really?
Okay.
Dork.
No, you know, we definitely, you know, open up what's going on in our world,
Right.
and kind of make that an integral part of what's going on. I'm a dad. I have twin daughters who are 17, so their lives of high school and getting ready for college, and then we have a new baby boy at home that's almost 8 months old. So, you know, changing diapers and making bottles is kind of my life right now.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting. It's brand new. It's all brand new again, as they say. You know, having the girls that are almost out on their own and then starting over has been very exciting for us.
So then when the show's over,
But
you
yeah,
guys
no,
leave.
we have a plan. We know. After the show, we take about a half an hour to, you know, do whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
Take a moment to get away from the show, and then pretty much we come right back together again, have a meeting, talk, plan out the next day's show for the most part.
It's definitely planned chaos. I mean, it sounds on the air, you know, like we don't know what we're doing, which is true.
No.
But we do plan what we're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
just
the
like
show has a definite plan. We know what we're going to do the next day, and while that can change because, you know, between 10:30 in the morning and 5:30 the next morning, a lot of life happens.
A lot of things can happen.
So you have to be able to be flexible, to be able to call audibles and say, you know what, let's not do this, let's do that instead, get some research together, get this audio clip we need, whatever.
Gotcha.
And we've got a great team around us that helps us do that.
That's really cool. That sounds exciting. It's very upbeat. So then, you know, after you guys leave the studio, you have a long period of free time.
You'd think so. You'd think to yourself, you know what, man? If I got off work at 11 o'clock, I'd be at the gym every day. I would have on my grocery shop. I would read the things I would do.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's like anything else. You've been at work for almost 8 hours. You know, you're tired, man.
Right.
Kennedy always says by 11 a.m. we're ready for steak.
Yeah, like
You know,
ready for dinner.
Right.
Happy hour at like 2, dinner
Right.
at 4, bed
Oh
by
my
8.
God.
I'm like an 80-year-old woman.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, yeah, you get to do things, but how many people do you know that get off the same time we do? So even if you want to meet up
True.
with friends, you have to do it at their time, not yours. You do have free time, don't get me wrong. It's nice to go to the gym at 11 when nobody's there. It's
You're
awesome.
lucky though,
but-
because there's the traffic too, which is huge hassle.
Oh,
You guys don't need to deal with that.
I
do you?
don't.
so much.
I drive in from Charlestown to Brighton, which is where our studios are located. And I drive Sturo, and there's literally no traffic. How many people get to say that on their morning commute?
Don't you love that?
They drive Sturo with no traffic. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's the one where it's awesome to drive in at 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh, yeah!
No, but you know what? I really, and especially with the new baby at home, you know, getting home at 11, 12 o'clock every day and getting to spend that time with him is just so special. So I think right now I'm enjoying it even more than I did, say, you know, a year ago when he wasn't around, because you get those special moments during the day. And he likes to go to bed around the same time I do, which is cool. Like
so it
7
works
or 8
out for
o'clock.
everybody.
Oh, okay.
Right. We nap on the same schedule. Like I get home around 11, 12, he and I are both ready for a nap. We get up, we have a bottle, you know.
You know, it works out. You get to spend that time.
Yes.
Sounds so exciting, doesn't
See,
it?
well, because, you know, you would think that, you know, having to wake up that early, you know, most kids, you know, well, as babies, a lot of babies will wake up that early, but, you know, as they grow up, I mean, you said you had 17-year-olds?
Right.
You know, when they were like going, you know, when they were 8 and 9.
Yeah,
one of them would sleep all day. That's
one
for
of them
sure.
sleeps till 2 in the afternoon now. If you let her.
yeah.
Oh, she definitely likes to sleep.
It's weird
late.
how it's when you get older, you want to sleep in longer. I mean, obviously, it might be because you're staying up late, but
Well, it's difficult, I think, in
Everything just hurts more the older you get. That's
you
all.
know, when I first started out, you know, I did the overnight shift, and then I did the night shift, and I did the afternoon shift, and I never thought that I would be doing a morning show because I wasn't a morning person. And Kennedy as well, when we started working together, it was really tough for her. It was tough to change her mindset.
It was tough because I wouldn't go to bed at night.
Yeah.
I'm really a morning person. I typically am, but I was just
Right.
I was just not going to bed when I should have. And now I'm the total opposite.
She
Now
really
at
is.
8
She's
o'clock
changed.
comes and I'm like this, and I'm done and I'm out.
so it works.
I fell
then.
asleep at my own birthday party.
Oh God,
Swear.
it's not fun.
No, it was very embarrassing, and I cried a lot. But you know, I'm over it now.
No, what's that song? I'd cry if I want.
Oh, it's my party, and I'll cry
Yeah.
if I want to. Yeah, I did.
I'll sleep if I want
It was,
to.
and I did.
It's my party, and I'll nap if I feel like it.
So, how'd you guys get into being a radio talk co-host? You know, all that stuff. How'd it work out? Was this the dream? Was this the dream job you always wanted?
Yes and no.
For him, it was not me at all.
No.
Do you want to tell the story, dear?
We've told this story once or twice. No, I was doing an afternoon show, and Kennedy was doing regional theater, life outside of radio. And I had volunteered to do some work at this regional theater because I thought, hey, I want to do some acting or singing. And then I realized, I can't sing or dance or anything.
Oh, okay.
But I was pretty good technically with all the equipment. And I remember Kennedy, when she was on stage, just really took command of the stage. She was great on the microphone. She had a wonderful voice. And so we were both out back when we used to smoke. Kids don't
Used
smoke.
to.
Right, we both have quit since then.
Yeah, used to.
But so we're out there smoking a cigarette, and I was like, I was kind of a big fish in a small pond first starting out.
He was. He
and
was
I
a big
was like,
radio guy.
hey,
I was having a cigarette with a big radio guy.
Right, right.
It was pretty cool.
I'm Karson. Do you know who I am?
gotta know who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'd asked her, I was like, man, you got a great voice. Have you ever thought about radio? And she was like, you know, thanks.
I have a real job, is what I told him.
Yeah.
Because I did. Like, I had a real, 9-to-5er kind of thing, and I
Yeah.
hardly really knew him. And I'm like, what? I was married at the time. Like, whatever. But he pestered me and would not leave it alone. He would drag me into the station at 2 o'clock in the morning. He would, make me do an hour's worth on the air, and I was terrible. But he
No,
just
she
kept
wasn't.
pushing.
She was unnatural.
I laughed all the time. And he just kept pushing me and talking to his boss about me and bringing his boss tapes and harassed him until basically they hired me.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you happy he did that?
I don't know. Sometimes, yes, sometimes no.
Yeah,
No, of
we're-
course.
we're
I can't believe that from that day
Yeah.
in Fayetteville, North Carolina, behind Cape Fear Regional Theater, it led us to being at this historic radio station in Boston.
Yeah.
So no,
That's
never
huge.
thought it.
Yeah, and it's kind of like being in a band with having a show that has been together as long as we have, because we've moved up in markets together.
Right.
So when we had the job offer, we first started out in a small town in Florida, in Tallahassee, the capital, and Memphis came calling, and we're like, well, we have girlfriends and boyfriends and cats and family and
Yeah, was
uncles
that
and
hard,
It
having
was
to move
very
around?
difficult. It was very difficult, and negotiations, and then we got to Memphis, and we got settled in there, and we were there for about 5 years when Boston came calling. And they're like, wow, Boston, New England, cold, all these things come into play
Right.
that not only do I have to turn to my wife and say, hey, what do you think about this? I have to turn to one of my dearest friends and
Yeah.
my coworker and say, hey, what do you think about this? And then
Mm-hmm.
she has to check, with what's going on in her personal life. It was, it's an interesting ride when you commit to doing a show like we have and to one another.
And to do it together, it just doesn't happen a lot in radio.
Yeah.
We're really lucky that we've been able to do this. A lot of other places, they pick this person, and say, like each other, go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just
we've
go
been
with it,
able
yeah.
to work together doing our morning show for, how many years? 10? Is it 10?
No, not quite 10, like 9 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 9
You
years.
just work so well together, you know?
It just works.
Yeah. So now, do you guys have family, or is most of your family out here in Massachusetts?
No.
No.
No, not really.
They didn't move
I
with
have a
you?
crazy uncle that lives in Newport.
Oh, okay.
I used to vacation in Newport when I was a child. My great grandparents settled there when back in the day, but I mostly grew up in Maryland and Florida, and Kennedy's from Chicago.
Yeah, we've moved a lot. So there's family everywhere else.
When do you guys get to
They
go
can
visit
come
them?
here. December.
I was gonna say, 'cause, like,
Radio doesn't take vacations.
it's hard.
anymore.
It's hard to go on a plane Friday night and then come back in time.
Yeah,
That-
but you
what
do it
much
if
can
you
you
have the
do?
opportunity to get out of town for the weekend
Mhm.
and go live a little bit. Then
Take it.
certainly you do.
Okay.
So
It's great for the show.
Yeah.
To go out and
It's
hang
much
out with
better.
your dysfunctional family
Yeah.
is just great content. There's nothing funnier than your crazy family that lives
Them
wherever they
crazy
live.
uncle.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sitting at home and watching marathons of Swamp People, not so interesting.
Right.
Funnily enough, which is what I did this weekend. So.
Well,
The show is crazy.
you can learn things from that show.
Really? That I don't want to live in the bayou?
Be careful. I don't know. That show scares me too.
How to pull a gator in
Yeah.
to the boat by yourself?
That should be
All
in
set.
Devon's dish next week.
Yeah.
You don't want to live in the bayou. Here's
Yeah.
why.
Overall's not a good look on me. I'm just saying.
No. Oh, that show scares me. So all these great people you've met, it's been a lot. Steven Tyler, Charlie Sheen. I mean, you guys got to interview him when he was going through his big thing. Right?
We were actually one of the first people we got him on the phone. We
That's
had
still
the
pretty
coup.
big.
We got him. Our producer
Mhm.
tracked him down, got him on the phone, and from that point forward, Charlie called him about every 5 minutes. Hey, Josh, Charlie, just get done with my interview. Listen, kid, we got to get on the air and do this thing. Winning, and he talked like that, really in real life.
Right.
That was hilarious. That was an interesting time to be in radio.
Well, was that a obviously.
Oh, well, it
people
garnered
look
national
back.
exposure. Absolutely.
It was huge.
Was it a big
Everybody's
point
calling
in
us.
your lifetime?
Everybody was calling us looking for his phone number. So that's a pretty
Right.
big deal. When other people in other markets, other radio stations call you and be
yeah.
like, hey, man, can I have
And we were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place
Mm-hmm.
because our parent company of Mix is CBS Radio. Obviously, his falling out was with CBS Television.
Right.
And while the
Ooh.
bosses are different, the big
connections.
bosses are the same.
Gotcha.
Right.
And that there came a point in time where we had to cut and say, listen, we've had a good run and we enjoy doing this stuff, but they're going to court over this stuff, and we didn't want to end up
Right.
in a courtroom.
That wouldn't be good.
Sometimes when the suits talk, you have to listen.
All right.